It's the source of so much frustration among health and wellness professionals that I work with, and yet it's an essential part of marketing your business. I'm talking, of course, about editing your writing. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Michaela, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing 3 simple tips to help you edit your writing more efficiently so that you can save time and brain power, and most important of all, get back to the work you actually enjoy. Let's do it. Okay, tip number 1 is to stop trying to draft and edit at the same time. Okay, I'm going to set a little scene for you, and you tell me if this is familiar. Type a sentence. Delete, delete, delete. Choose a word, reflect on word, scrutinize word, investigate spelling and definition and ancient origin of word. It's death by 1,000 tiny cuts. I used to write this way all the time, and judging by your response when I shared about this over on Instagram, a lot of you are actively writing this way right now too. As I'm sure you've experienced for yourself, it's exhausting. It is horribly inefficient to write this way, and the reason for that is that we're actually fighting against ourselves when we're doing this horrible little draft edit dance. Seth Godin cautioned about this very clearly when he said, don't try to create and analyze at the same time. And I completely agree. They're 2 distinct processes. Try to pull them off at the same time, and one will always interfere with the other. So the solution's actually quite simple. You schedule separate sessions for writing copy and for editing what you've written. And these sessions could take place on completely different days or just different times of the same day. But the point is to set some good boundaries and treat them like their own little session. Now, I'll be honest, it can take some getting used to if you're not in the habit of writing this way, but once it becomes second nature, it is going to change the efficiency with which you can write and edit, and it's just going to change your whole approach to writing, I promise. So how about you? Do you draft and edit at the same time, and how's it working out for you? Tell me in the comments, I'd love to know. Tip number 2 is to go off the grid when you're drafting. So when you have a session designated for drafting copy, the point here is to just give yourself free rein to create without the interference of censorship. So it can be helpful to go ahead and turn off any autocorrect functions you have in place. In Google Docs, for example, it's really easy to do this under Tools. Under spelling and grammar, you can temporarily disable the auto-suggest feature of each of these. And under preferences, you can disable any of the additional automated edit options until you're ready to use them. In fact, while you're at it, I recommend unplugging from your internet connection if you can. Again, most word processing software gives you the option to work offline. And this is a great way to keep your mind focused on the creation process without the easy distraction of all those little tabs open. And tip number 3 is to edit in waves. Now, there are lots of different ways that you could approach the editing process. So once the drafting is done and you're on to editing, but here's a basic workflow that you can follow. First, go through and flag anything that you want to cite, expand upon, or check for factual accuracy. That way you'll have a list in front of you when you do eventually reconnect to your Wi-Fi and go hunting for answers. Next, take the whole thing you've written and record yourself reading it out loud, and then listen back for tone, flow, and just how it's all coming together. Finally, once you've revised it for content, tone, and flow, go ahead and bust out your figurative or literal red pen and give the whole thing a good, thorough proofread. You can do this right there on your screen, or you can print the whole thing out and review the hard copy. This is personal preference, it's totally up to you. For instance, if I were editing an Instagram caption, I wouldn't bother printing it out. I'd just edit it right there on my screen. But if it were something longer and more involved, like an email welcome sequence or copy for a website page, I'd print out a hard copy of the whole thing and go over it that way. No matter what you're editing though, I recommend you drop the whole thing into a Google Doc and make a few adjustments just to make your life easier. You can increase the size of the text, space out the actual lines so you have more white space as you read, and switch out the font to something non-proportional or mono-spaced. I use Courier a lot. It helps any typographical or other errors just really become more prominent on the page, and it just makes it a lot easier to spot them as you're editing. But remember, just because any of these built-in features might make a suggestion for how to make something more grammatically correct, for example, you're ultimately in the driver's seat. You get to decide what is going to communicate your meaning most effectively to your dream audience. And if you'd like another set of eyes on your work, I'd love to have you join the hundreds of health and wellness professionals who have completed my free 5-day About Page challenge. It's a refreshingly simple step-by-step guide to getting your perfect About Page up in just 5 days. Each day, you'll get one very brief video and one super simple action step, plus personalized feedback from me as you write your copy. Sign up at the link below, and I can't wait to see you inside. If you found this video useful, please give it a like. That helps other health and wellness professionals find it, and it communicates to me that you'd like more videos on this topic. Thanks so much for being here. Be sure to check out this video on handling professional jargon on your website, and meet me back here each Tuesday for more communication tips to help you preach what you practice. Bye.